Thank you very much, and thank you very much for a brilliant introduction. I'm very happy to be back here in Rochester. And very grateful that all of you, I'm sure you have lots of things to do, but came to spend this evening with me. I became a monk even before I knew I became a monk. But then I got a kind of strange education, partly very, very traditional, partly a little bit modern. And somehow I worked a long time for the government. Strangely, although I've been a monk all my life, I never really spent much time in monastery. So I sometimes feel that I'm neither here nor there, or I'm in both worlds. And sometimes I feel that because I've been a monk all my life, and because I've been in the world all my life, and also traveled a lot, sometimes I feel that maybe I understand the problems a little bit. Problems in the West and also in the East. And when I'm talking, I don't think, I'm not particularly preaching Buddhism. When I study Buddhism also, or anything, I kind of, this is what my teachers also told me to do, that I try to understand what has been taught, what's been written, and what I understand and what I feel is really something that I can use in my life. And when I feel that that's something useful, beneficial, I try to take that. And those things that I don't understand, maybe some of the things that I don't agree with, probably are those I don't understand. And I don't I don't bother too much with them. Maybe another time I will understand, and then maybe I can practice. So therefore, I also, when I try to speak and share some things that I've learned. Many of things that I've learned is not only, I think, from Buddhism, but from life and also from different sources. I think I've learned a lot from people with whom I meet, I communicate, and we exchange. All of you, all of the people that I meet all around the world are my teachers. And of course, that's why I also suggest to everybody that when you study or even listen to anybody like me, you can take it as a what you call food for thought. And if there is something you feel that is that's useful, that's beneficial, then maybe you can keep it. Maybe you can use it also. And if there's nothing that you feel is useful, then just let it be. No need to kind of feel any kind of no need to think about it. But as I said earlier, I learn from people. So therefore, I like discussions. I like questions. I like difficult questions. I like debate. I like very silly questions. Sometimes I feel that silliest questions are the most interesting ones. Because sometimes, I feel that the most important things to understand something, a concept, or any study we do, the most important thing is to understand the very simple, basic, basics. And many times we don't understand that, and therefore then we can't understand anything. It all becomes a little blur. And sometimes these basics are kind of too simple or too kind of seems too obvious or too silly even to ask questions about. And therefore, then we don't ask questions. We don't kind of dare to ask questions because we feel that we look idiot. So therefore, I think it's sometimes very important. That's why I always try to talk about the basics, because that's where I think sometimes we have the problem. Anyway, as I said, what I'm saying, what I'm trying to present is not kind of a belief system, but trying to discuss with you what I've studied through my experience and teachings. I have very good teachers. I have very great many teachers from many different Buddhist traditions and also others. So therefore, I'll just present some of the things in a very as short as possible, and then I'll give lots of time for discussion. This is the topic I've been given. Being with your thoughts. I don't understand it. Usually, I'm too lazy to think of a nice topic. So I ask the organizers, please, you think. I have a nap. And then sometimes they come up with very complicated topics. So I try to work around that. But I think what he's saying here in the kind of following description, I might understand a little bit. Is your mind constantly busy, caught up with regrets, anxious, or reaching for future satisfaction, with little rest or peace of mind in the present? This public talk with Ringu Tulku they have to make it very interesting, yeah? Present a rare occasion, very rare occasion, in learning how to relate to your thoughts differently for a more stable, peaceful, and joyful mind. I hope I knew how to do that. But this is really, actually, this is quite a common and usual topic that we try to contemplate. Maybe in every spiritual and contemplative kind of traditions, but also very much in Buddhism and also especially, I think a lot, in Tibetan Buddhism. How we are, how we feel, how our, what kind of a state of mind we are. Is something that we feel can be changed. Because, of course, there are different ways and different means and different levels of understanding and training. But if we start with the most kind of from the common sense, from the very basic way, how I feel now is very much based on where my mind is focused on. If my mind is focused on only problems and difficulties and things that are not right, and if that is my habit, if that is my way of doing, it's certain that I will feel lots of tension and lots of frustration and lots of unhappiness, disturbance. And maybe this is something very, very, very easy to understand in one way, but sometimes not very easy to do, actually, and most of us don't really think too much about this, is that we have this very, very strong habit. Our habit is that our mind is always occupied by our problems. I sometimes say that, if my watch is not working, it doesn't really, is not the most important thing in my life. But I think, oh, my watch is not working, what should I do, I have to get my watch repaired, I almost feel as if, unless my watch becomes good, I cannot be happy at all. I cannot rest. I cannot be, in peace. Only if my watch is okay, then I can relax. So I do lots of things, to make sure that my watch works. And all that time my watch is not working, my mind is on that. My watch is not working. Maybe I should tell him, maybe I should tell him, I shouldn't go, maybe I should ask. And once my watch is working, it's kind of natural in this world that only one problem comes and then no other problem comes. Always problems come. Then my telephone doesn't work. So, of course, then I'm much more upset, And unless my telephone works, that's a big thing. And when my telephone works, maybe my computer doesn't work. And then maybe 2 other problems come. Then maybe 3 other problems come. But my attitude is that unless my problem is solved, I cannot be happy, I cannot relax, I cannot be, I cannot enjoy my life, kind of. And if I keep on doing that any time there is a problem, my mind is not in rest, my mind is not in peace, my mind is disturbed, then I will be disturbed most of my life. Because, there's lots of things that can go wrong and lots of things that can disturb my mind and lots of things, in my personal life, outside, in the work, in the world, And then if I react like that, one after another, this is stressful, next is stressful, next is, not so nice, problem, this problem, that problem. Life is, I think somebody said it maybe also. Life is a sequence of solving problems. Maybe that's better to put the solving, because if you say life is only problems, maybe that's not right. But we keep on solving problems. That's the life. And there are some problems which we can solve easily, some problems which cannot solve easily, and some problems actually doesn't solve also. Does that mean that we have to be completely unhappy and disturbed and, no peace of mind at all? I think this is where we really have to think carefully. Because most of the time in our life, it's not that there is hardly time when you can say that now there is absolutely no problem. Everything is completely good and okay. And so I can really relax and happy. There's a little, there's a kind of a story, a Tibetan story. It is said that one little monk was left in the monastery with quite a strict teacher. And that teacher was saying to the little monk, after we finish this study, then we will go for picnic. And he finished his study. He didn't go for picnic. He says, after this, then we'll go for picnic. After this. So it went on and on and on, and they never went for picnic. So one day, this teacher and student were walking somewhere to another place. And long distance, they saw some kind of a group of people coming, a procession kind of thing. The teacher was a little elderly, so he couldn't see very well. So he asked his young student, "What is that? What's going on there?" The young man said, "Oh, somebody finished work and going on picnic." And then when they came nearer, it was a funeral procession. So the monk was saying, you will never finish anything, So it's a little bit like that, the problems also. Sometimes, maybe I shouldn't say this. But okay, you want me to say this? It's the philosophy of lazy lama. I'm lazy lama, There are lots of books there called lazy lama. And what is the philosophy of lazy lama? You can never finish your work. Only if you stop doing, then you finish work. Is that correct? Work is something, But that's not I wanted to discuss. I want to discuss our problems. And so if our mind is only on the problems, then we are naturally stressed. We are naturally, anxious. We're naturally unhappy and disturbed. What to do about that? There's only one way, I think. That is that while we have some problems, while we have certain problems and things to do and things to fix, there are lots of good things in our life. There's lots of positive things and nice things going on in our life, around our life, also in the world. If we are totally, only focused our mind on the problems, what happens is that we don't see anything other than that problem, and we don't feel anything other than that problem. It becomes as if there is nothing other than that problem. And if that becomes our way of doing, if that becomes our lifestyle, there is no other way. We will become stressed. We will become, disturbed. We will sometimes become depressed. It's not that there are no other good thing. It's just that our mind is not focused on that. So if we can, at the same time, when we have problems and things like that also, if we can allow our mind not only to be kind of caught with that problem and difficulty, but allow our mind to feel and observe and focus on all these good things that we have, and nice things that we have, and positive things that we have, and really appreciate that, learn to appreciate that, learn to feel that, learn to, make a habit of that. That doesn't necessarily, solve our problem. It doesn't necessarily solve our problem. But then, because, our mind is also focused on good things, positive things, nice things. So that problem becomes not everything, but part of a thing. Something that we can, that's also there, but this is also there. We need to do something about these things. Maybe we can solve it, maybe we can easily solve it, maybe we cannot easily solve it, but there are also many good things, and so therefore our mind becomes much more, much more positive, much more relaxed, much more, it becomes a kind of lighter and broader, and sometimes many people say, I can't see the end of my tunnel. I can't see the end of the tunnel. It's so much problem. So, and then I usually say that, you are not looking at a tunnel. Maybe you are looking at a wall. If we are looking at a wall and try to see the end of the tunnel, we can never see the end of the tunnel because there is no tunnel. What we need to do is not look at the wall, but look around. Yeah? If I was looking at the wall and then say that I can't see the end of the tunnel, of course I will not see the end of the tunnel, but if I little bit backward and look up, look down, then I know that this is not a tunnel. And I could see everything around. Most of the time, we make ourselves kind of overwhelmed, almost blinded by that problem. That's why we are overwhelmed. I sometimes say this, and I think like that this is my hand, and my hand is not necessarily the biggest hand. It's kind of a little bit smallish. But if I put it like this, I can't see anything. I can't even see what is the lines on my hand also. But if I put it like that, my hand is still there. It doesn't go away. But it doesn't make problem. It doesn't obstruct my vision. So most of our problems, how big the problem is, how overwhelming the problem is, sometimes not how the problem is, but how much we allow ourselves to be blinded by that, totally occupied by that problem. So this is something I think we really need to think over and reflect. Once I was somewhere and I was supposed to have a guest, kind of a little bit important guest. And one lady was helping me to cook and to serve to this guest. And then around not long time, before the guest would be coming, I went down and said, what is there anything I can do to help? And she was very, very, excited and a little bit overwhelmed. She says, "Oh, I have so many things to do. I have so many things to do." I said, "What do you have to do? I'll help." She says, "Well, I have to change, and then I have so many things to do. I have so many things to do." And then I said, "Okay, have you cooked?" She said, "Yes, I've cooked everything, but I have so many things." And then I said, "Okay, I'll put the food on the table. You go and change, and then what you have to do, then we will see." And then she went and she changed, and then actually she had nothing else to do. She just had to change her clothes. But sometimes it's like that. We are over. We are, our mind is so occupied with so many things, then we think that it is so many things and so much, and sometimes it's not that big problem, but because, it's so much kind of occupied ourselves that it's. So therefore, I think it's very important for us to, to reflect, to contemplate, and to a little bit, That's why sometimes we say that, try to be a little bit mindful, try to become aware, try to be a little bit relaxed, and learn and exercise. That our mind is, of course, we have to think about our problems. We have to solve our problems. We have to, do whatever we need to do. But, that's not everything in our life. There is other things in our life also. And those other things, very important to appreciate. Very important to appreciate and recognize and really use them, sometimes, things that we take very granted is something really important. Like we take our life very granted many times. If I have good health, we don't think about it. It's nothing unless we get sick. Only when we get sick, then they say, "Oh, it was so nice not to be sick." And then when we have lots of good things, but then, our mind is kind of occupied by something, and then we cannot, appreciate that. Maybe I told this story before also, but I thought it would be, I had this kind of, when I first came to the West, to England actually, I was so impressed. Because I was coming from India, and before that, all the problems in my life. And so I thought, people here would be so happy. No problem. Because, they have all these nice places, They travel in cars, buses, trains, which are heated in winter, and cooled in summer. Everything is carpeted. And even when they work, they go to the office, which is beautiful, heated, carpeted, clean. They sit on the most comfortable chair and nice desk, have a cup of coffee, in their best dress with high heels or whatever. And what they do? Nothing. Maybe make a phone call or type some letters and make a chat and go home. I thought that was no work. I didn't think that was work. Work for me was like from dawn to dusk, working in the field when it's 40 degrees Celsius, or 20 degrees below, then it's work. Work is when you have to carry like 100 kilos of something on your back and climb the hills. But this was no work. So I thought everybody would be so happy, so joyful, and so, overjoyed, And it was not like that. I was surprised. Some people coming, what is going on? What's wrong? These people must be mad. But I understood that. It's not. I had to really change my way of looking. How happy or how the problems is not about the problems. The problem is about how you experience, how you see, how you think, where your mind is. So it's not less problem here than anywhere else, even if there is lots of good things and very, very nice circumstances, much better circumstances of life. That is not, that doesn't mean that somebody has to be totally happy, because it's how you focus your mind on, where I told this story before also, but once a young lady came to me and said, not in England, I think somewhere else, I'm going to kill myself because I've lost everything. I said, what happened? He says, I've lost my boyfriend, I've lost my job, now there's nothing to live for, I'm going to kill myself. I was shocked, Of course, boyfriends are nice, but I thought in my mind, I am maybe foolish. They don't deserve your life. I thought in my mind, good riddance. I'm wrong, of course. But I didn't tell her that. I told her, okay, if you want to kill yourself, then, there's nothing anybody can do. You can kill yourself. But what is the hurry? First, go and visit India, I told her. And don't tell me you have no money, because you don't need any money after you die. Just go and visit India and come back. And then if you think you want to kill yourself, do it. And she was kind of, she agreed actually, and she left. I said these kind of things many times. And many times people come back, visit India and come back. Really big smile. And I ask them, what happened? They would say, oh, I nearly died. I still have Delhi belly. And then I say, but you look happy. They say, yes, I'm so happy now. I'm so happy. So when they go to India and see, by comparison, what kind of life they have, how fortunate they are compared to so many other people. I think they change their way of seeing, They start to appreciate their life. And maybe Delhi belly also helps. Because, it's not nice, to be sick and things like that. And then, you think that life is important, life is something good. This particular lady didn't go to India, but she went to Japan. But she had the same solution. She climbed some mountain, and then she had an accident, and she fell down something in a kind of a ditch or some kind of a thing, and then she kind of almost lost hope. She thought that now, because it was such a place where nobody was there, and nobody could hear, so she was feeling that maybe I'm going to die now. And when she was going through that, she thought that, if I could just get out of this, it would be so nice. Because then that time, all her problems of, not having a job and not having a boyfriend kind of dissipated. She said it was not that important anymore. So this kind of, we really need to understand this, that learn to how we focus our mind, and where to focus our mind, and appreciate. So that's, to do that, we need to train our mind. We need to also, we need to kind of reflect and change our way of looking, our attitude. Yes, there are problems. There are problems in the world. There are problems in my life. There are problems in everybody's life. And some problems are difficult. Sometimes it's very difficult. But there are also very, very nice things, very good things, wonderful things. So therefore, those wonderful things, even to be able to really, enjoy something like this. Today is such a nice day. And it's so beautiful, You have a very beautiful country. Because you have, changing of seasons. I was talking to some of my friends. In India, it's green all the time. It's kind of a hot country. So the leaves don't fall one time. Even in winter, there's leaves there on the trees. It's always there. That's why it's always a little bit dull, green but dull and dusty and, nothing fresh, Winter also, summer also, autumn also, spring also. Here in spring you have so fresh, nice, beautiful, and then it changes into, in the summer, much another thing, and then in autumn it turns into, yellow and red and, very nice, and then it all falls down, and then another kind of, it's many things like that, even little things, so many good things. Same way, everything, lots of very positive and wonderful things are there. Recently, I saw a film by Michael Moore. You know Michael Moore? Some of you may have, I think, know Michael Moore. He used to make films, after 9/11 and things like that. He made a new film called What to Attack Next. You have seen that? It's a very nice film. You should watch it. It's not about attacking. This is about, he says that, we Americans have been attacking lots of places in the world. And every time we were attacking, it's because we want something to get from there. And then he came to Europe with an American flag on his back to see what is there, that he can get something very nice from there, so that he can grab it and take it back. So he visits everywhere in Europe, England and everywhere. And he finds so many really, really wonderful things. So many very, very wonderful things. And then he goes deep into what is that and how is that and where it's come from. And he comes to know that actually most of them, some came from America. So he couldn't attack anything. But it shows so many good things, that there are really, really, really nice things in Europe, in England and all these places. So I thought, people here should see that film. But it's not necessarily something, like that, but, everybody's life, it is like that. So when we have to allow our mind, ourselves, to have more, more peace, more joy, more positive feeling, we need to cultivate that. We need to learn how to, And this is kind of part of the meditation, actually. Part of the meditation is to learn that, we relax. We relax our body. We relax our mind. And then, of course we have thoughts coming, emotions coming, sensations coming. Usually what we do, of course we want nice things, we want kind of nice experiences, we want pleasurable experiences, pleasing things. And we don't want something that is unpleasant, not nice, whether it's an emotion, whether it's an, sensation, whether it's in perception. But what we do in our mind, I think this is important. A nice thing comes and says, oh, this is very nice, I want to have this, I want to keep this, I want to prolong this, I don't want this to go. Then you try to hold to that. You try to, kind of grab that. You try to retain that. But it goes. Even if it doesn't go immediately, immediately comes the fear that, oh, this nice thing, it should not go, it will go. I hope it doesn't go. What can I do to fear? And that kills this nice experience. So even a nice experience we have, pleasant experience we have, because of our way of reacting to it, we make it almost unpleasant. And then when it goes, oh, I want it back again, And then we run after it, we try to do something to get it back. And in the same way, when there is an unpleasant experience, then we say, oh, this is very bad, this is not good, this, Whatever, if somebody says something, somebody does something, or I have, and then I don't want this, don't want. The more I don't want it, the more it suffers me. And then finally it goes, but then I fear that it will come back. And then I'm very afraid that, it will come back. That's all the anxieties, all the worries are from there. So if I am only doing this, and this is what we are reacting, if you look minutely, if you look subtly, if you look deeply in our mind, this is how we are reacting. We are reacting either, running after something or running away from something, trying to keep something or trying to keep out something. Either we are afraid of something or we are trying to kind of grab or, trying to cling to something. And if our mind is doing just that, that's not pleasant. There's no peace in that. That makes our mind disturbed. So if we really need to learn how to bring true peace in our mind, in our experience, we need to start at this level. How we react to our experience. If we can, a pleasant experience comes, and then you say, oh, it's very nice. It's very nice, but it will also go. It can go, it doesn't matter because it can come back again. It's not so important that I try to grab it. It is important that I understand that things come and go. And that I allow it to come and I allow it to go. And I allow it that I am not disturbed by that. And even an unpleasant experience come, unpleasant thought or sensation or, whatever. Same thing. It's not nice, but it is also temporary. It comes and goes. It's almost momentary. Everything is momentary. So, it is necessary. It will go. And then, if I allow it to go, it will go. And then something else will come and something else will come. So therefore, it doesn't need to overpower me. It doesn't need to overwhelm me. It doesn't need to, So when I learn how to do that, little bit, actually I learned how to meditate. Meditation is learning how to be, how to allow all the thoughts, emotions, sensations, perceptions come, go, and they don't totally, overtake ourselves, overpower ourselves. We maintain a certain sense of, understand. Of course, nice things we enjoy. But it will go, and it can go, no problem. No fear. And not so pleasant comes. Okay, we don't like it, but we allow it to go by itself. We don't need to be so afraid. We don't need to be so upset by that. Because they're all good things, not positive things and nice things also. So if we exercise this, if we kind of repeat this in our life, 1 moment, 2 moments, 3 moments, sometimes meditation is not something. Sometimes people make meditation a very kind of a rigid thing. I have to meditate. Some people ask even, how long should I meditate? Is 20 minutes enough? Or 1 hour? I think that's not really a question. It's not about 20 minutes or 1 hour or half an hour or 15 minutes or that. Sometimes I feel that, to make that kind of a thing is a problem. If you said, I have to meditate for 15 minutes. And this is what we do most of the time, Whatever we do, we make it something that we have to get it done. I'm doing meditation, so meditation now it's to be finished. So I'm not really doing meditation, I'm trying to finish the meditation. Yeah? And most of the things we do is like that in life, I'm doing this so that I finish it, So I'm not enjoying doing it, I'm just only trying to finish it, So everything in my life, if I do it just to finish it, then I'm always busy, because I look for the time when it is done, it's finished, and then, I've done it. And then, of course, another thing comes, now done it, now done it, And if I will live like that, Of course I'm stressed, because I'm trying to finish everything, That's not the point, I think, It's not about finishing it, it's about being, We need to learn to be, we need to learn to enjoy, we need to learn to, whether it's meditation, or whether it's something that you are doing, a job, or, whatever. If we kind of do it in the sense of, enjoying it and, being kind of fully, okay, I do this, but it is, every moment just being a little bit, aware and, nice and enjoying and, taking the advantage of whatever there is there, then that thing becomes something nice, enjoyable, And of course, things finish more quickly because I enjoy doing that. Because if I'm doing something and I see the value of that doing, I see the purpose of that doing, I see the benefit of doing that, then I do it with, as nicely, as fully, as, as kind of joyfully as possible. And that is not a stress then, that is a joy. Sometimes I think even holiday, people are doing like that, You go to a holiday and there's what should we do now? Oh, we should walk. Oh, yes, walk. Let's finish the walk, Okay, then what to do now? And then now do, something else. And then now what, So I sometimes feel that the holidays are as busy as any other time. Sometimes more busy, Why should we do that? That has become our habit. So therefore, we really need to look back and reflect and learn to relax, I think the more our deeply kind of relaxed, we do things much quickly. Sometimes people think that if I'm relaxed, I might not finish the work. I have to. Actually, it's not the case. If you are relaxed, you do one after another, step by step, without repeating too many times, and it's finished much more quickly. If I'm too kind of hurry, then I do things and I throw this away and I make a mess of it, and then, at the end, it takes much longer time and it's much less well done, So therefore, I think it's, and also I enjoy, and there's no kind of too much pressure, not too much, nothing can overwhelm me if I take things like that. Maybe it's, how difficult everything is. It's also basically our attitude. Sometimes people say that, oh, there's lots of pressure. Of course, there's lots of pressure. People want you to do and want you to achieve a lot and things like that. But whatever may be, we can do what we can do. We can't do more than what we can do. Yeah. And if we do it kind of lightly, if we do clearly, if we do with our concentration, positively, relaxedly, most probably we do much more better. So, worrying too much anxious, makes us less productive. So therefore, I have to do this quickly. And then you make lots of mistakes, and at the end, you don't really do anything that you even could have done. And of course, what others expect. Expectation either from yourself and others, is something else, and what you can do is something else. And however much I try, I can't do more than I possibly can. And then, if that's not enough, that's not enough. Okay, what can I do? This is usually my way of thinking, When people pressurize me, I don't do anything. I mean, I try, but I don't mind, because it's no use. It's no use. So therefore, I feel that I do my best, and if that is okay, that's okay. If that's not okay, that's okay. So no use getting overwhelmed. No use getting overwhelmed, because that's what I can possibly do, and then I'll do as much as I do, and then if that's not okay, that's not okay. Then finish this. I can do something else. I think that attitude is useful. That attitude is very important and useful. Of course, you have to find way to do things, if it is about doing, as quickly as possible. I've seen something said by, what's his name, Bill Gates, and I'm so happy. You know what he said? Maybe I shouldn't say this. He said that when I have something important to be done, I give it to a lazy person, because he will find the quickest way of doing it. I believe this, because I am lazy, and I find the quickest way of doing things. And sometimes people are so perfectionists that they take so long, they take so much time. I know one person, and she's a perfectionist, and she works all day and all night, doesn't go to sleep. And she's totally exhausted. But not done. And once I told her, why do you work so hard? Can't you make it a little bit, quickly? She says, no, that's impossible. I have to do everything correctly and everything. And once there was something that she had to choose from lots of things, one thing, and And she said, oh, she was really overwhelmed. And she said, I have to look at 2,000 different things there of the same kind, and I have to choose one. And it's really, I have so much to do. I couldn't sleep. I said, but you can't look at all these 2,000 things. And even if you look, then you get confused. You wouldn't be able to really, how can you say this is the best? She says, how can I do that? I said, why don't you just get, some different samples of, different prizes, qualities, and some different colors, and then, you just select something which is not so expensive and looks nice. How can you look at 2,000? She said, no, that's not possible. I have to look. I would have done like that, I would have selected it in 2 minutes. Because if you look at 2,000, your mind will be totally full of things. You wouldn't even know which one is which, But some people, like that, and too much, perfectionist. That wouldn't work, no? So therefore, I think we just have to, the way of doing things and relax and allow our mind to, to focus. And, this is that, I think I told basically 2 things. I shouldn't take too much time. First is that, we should really also concentrate, also focus our mind on positive things, negative things, everything. We have to learn how to do that. Second, we have to allow, to kind of any thoughts, emotions, sensations, and other things to come and go. And whatever comes and goes, we don't have to hold on, or we have to afraid or anything like that. Just when we learn that, we learn how to be. And if we learn how to be properly, then we know that it is okay to feel relaxed and in peace, even if everything is not completely okay. I think we need to train in that. I wouldn't say anything more.